So if you've ever caught yourself saying something like, I really want to do that, but I'm just too busy, this video is for you. We are going to blow the lid off that limiting belief that holds you back in so many ways. We're going to talk about one simple strategy that you can use to really start owning your time and making time for the things that matter to you most. So if you've been on this journey with me for the last few weeks, you'll know we've been on a journey to create a powerful one-page business plan that really is the roadmap for you to actualize the business of your dreams and to really take on a big, hairy, audacious goal that you would love to accomplish. Now, the shitty but real truth is, unless you take action on that plan, it's not gonna happen. So the difference between our current state and this future desired state, what lies in between is action. And in order to take action, we have to have the time and we have to be investing our time, energy, and resources into the things that matter to us most. So that is what we're gonna dig into today. I'm gonna share with you the one strategy that I've learned and come across that is pretty much bulletproof when it comes to investing your time, energy, and resources into the things that matter to you most. And I've also got a free training that I'm going to share with you that will really help you take this home and hit this one out of the park, because it is really where the rubber meets the road. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kristin Constable, and I'm a leadership and business coach to values-driven entrepreneurs. And I've been working with leaders and entrepreneurs in a coaching capacity for over 10 years. And I've been playing with a ton of different productivity tools and time management tools. And the one thing that I'm more certain on now than ever is that the answer to this problem around time is not more hustle. It is more alignment. And I'm going to talk about what I mean by alignment later on in this video. But for now, just know this isn't going to be another motivational video telling you to hustle harder and do more. It's going to be around getting smart with how you invest your time, energy, and resources. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get notified every single time a new video comes online. And let's dive into this top tips and strategies around how to create time for the things that matter to you most. Okay, so what is this bulletproof strategy that I'm saying is so powerful? Well, I'm gonna get to it, but I'm gonna start with two things that you need to take into account before we even go there when it comes to creating time and space for the things that matter to you most. So the two things I want to talk about are time management and energy management. Time management is what we typically think of when we think of how to prioritize and how to be productive. It's where our time, our hours, our minutes go. And it's around how to best use that in a way that maximizes that time. Now, it's important to understand where your time goes and get really realistic about this. So in my experience working with lots of high-performing A-type people is that they tend to overbook themselves. So if we look at their calendars, which I do, I ask all of my coaching clients to see their calendars, and what we see is that there's actually way more to do in a day than they have time for. So their calendar is chock-a-block, but then things that need to be in there that are important to them, like maybe exercising, picking their kids up, having dinner with their kids, or doing some of the more business-focused things like sales or product development, don't find a space in that calendar. And then they end up with this belief or this idea that they just don't have enough time. But the reality is they have the time, it's just going to the wrong things. So the first thing for you to do, the first practice to take on is to do a time audit. Where is your time going and how are you spending it? If you use a calendar, that's a really easy way to dig into it. You can also do it by just kind of guessing the amount of hours it takes for a task and completing all of your tasks for the week and doing a task audit. I just did that recently around my marketing initiatives and I was like, oh, that's actually taking up a lot more time than I thought. So it's important to get super clear on where your time's going through either a calendar audit or a time audit. Get clear on how many hours you're spending versus how many hours you want to be spending on the different aspects of your life. The second thing we want to talk about is energy management. Now, this concept might be new for some of you, but is really, really important. So energy management is where our energy is either increased, so some tasks, people, things that increase our energy, fill our cups, versus tasks, energy, or people that deplete our energy. Now, we're all different with the types of things that either increase our energy or decrease our energy. But the important thing to know is to have some awareness around what those things are for you. When you know this, you can start to get strategic around how you calendarize and how you prioritize those things. So if there's something in your day that it takes a lot of energy for you to do, maybe it's accounting. If you save that until the end of the week, Friday afternoon, and you've got nothing left in the tank, the reality is that's probably not gonna get done, or it's gonna be painful to do. When you know what gives you energy and what takes away your energy, eventually you can start to delegate some of those tasks that deplete your energy off so you can work in your strengths all of the time, which is ideal. But until then, you can get really strategic around how you put that in and where you put those tasks in. So now it's time for this bulletproof tip. So this bulletproof tip, if you know me at all, this is not going to be a surprise, is around leveraging your values when it comes to time management. Now, if you don't know what your values are yet, and you're not even clear what values are, make sure to check out the free training, the free masterclass. I'll link it in the link below, and then you can totally do a deep dive into that. But if you do know what your values are, you're ready to dive into this. Now, the reason values are so effective when it comes to time management, time and energy management, is that they become the filter that you look at everything through. So values really are the things that matter to you most. So when you start to use your values as this filter to see what gets your time and energy, decisions become way easier. So the decision to speak at that event, or to write that guest blog post, or to work with a certain client. When you start to look at those decisions through this filter of, is this in alignment with what matters to me most and what I'm moving towards in terms of my vision and my goals, all that work that you did in the one-page business plan, it makes it so much easier to say yes and to say no. So if you know me, you know that I talk about values a lot. And when it comes to practical application, this idea of using values as a time management strategy makes so much sense. They become this gatekeeper, this filter that allows you to live in the spaces of what gives you meaning and fulfillment and what's actually going to move you towards your goal. And what you might know and you might already experience is that the more success you have, the more opportunities actually come across your plate. It's no longer about survival or about taking anything that you can get. You have to be discerning around what opportunities you take on, where you spend your time. And don't forget, time is our only non-renewable resource. It is so precious. So spending it on the things that matter to us most, that light up our souls, that move us towards our goals, is so important. And so the final tip that I want to leave you with is super tactical and actionable. And the best way to do that is through some sort of active calendar planning or weekly planning. And you'd be amazed how many people, you might be one of them, who actually don't do that, who don't spend the time to get proactive and calendarize in these chunks of time to make time for the things that matter to you most. So a client of mine that I was working with last year did this, and it was really cool to see the impact that this had. And what she did was she decided that being a mom and being there for her kids was above all else, even though she's a brand new business owner, was above all else the most important thing for her in her life. So we talked about how that would show up. How would being a great mom show up? And for her, that was picking her kids up twice a week from school and spending some quality time with them after school. So guess what? in her calendar, 3 o'clock onwards on those 2 days got totally blocked out. No one could book in meetings with her. No one could schedule a coffee or anything. That was her time for her values-driven actions. And what was amazing about that is it actually didn't affect anything else. People found other times to book in with her. She found other times to do other actions, but those values-driven actions found their place in the schedule. Now, this can be used towards business as well. Maybe you're in a growth phase right now or a business development phase, and sales is the thing that matters to you most. That's the piece that gets calendarized in first before all of the other busy work, before anything else, so you learn to make time for the things that matter to you most. This simple practice is the one thing that will change the game for you and get you out of this illusion of being busy, because you will make time for the things that matter to you most. And all of the things that don't really matter won't get your time, and that's okay, because they're not adding value and fulfillment to your life anyways. So those are my top tips for you when it comes to making time for the things that matter to you most. And what I'd love for you to do right now is take a quick screen grab of this video right now, and then share it with me on Instagram, tagging me at Kristin Constable, and share with me the #1 top tip for you that really resonated that you're going to take on. And remember, this isn't about hustling more, doing more, working more. This is about getting into alignment and then being consistent and dedicated to spending your time and energy on those things that matter to you most. So thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, if you want to do a deeper dive into this and really want to hit this piece out of the park and get rid of that limiting belief of being busy forever, make sure to access that 45-minute free masterclass. I'm going to link it in the show notes below, and it'll give you all of the tools to really dive deep into getting clear around what your values are and how to protect your time and energy through some of the most common things that get in the way. So go check that out. Let me know how it goes, and thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week.